my name is Lindsay. I am a flight attendant, and today we are going to be talking about the pros and cons of dating a pilot. Now, as most of you know, I am dating a pilot. He does work for a major airline, a major carrier that he just recently started at, and I am very proud of him. But we have been dating for quite some time. We started talking and everything probably about 5 years ago, and we've been dating ever since then. We actually met at my previous airline. Before I get into the pros and cons of dating a pilot, I am going to talk about briefly how we met. So I started flying about 6 years ago at my previous company, and my intentions when I became a flight attendant was to travel the world. I was 21 years old. I didn't know anything about the airline industry. Nobody in my family had been a flight attendant or pilot or anything, so I was oblivious. I went in with an open mind, and all I wanted to do was travel. I didn't want to sit in a desk from 9 to 5. I didn't like school, so this was the option for me, and it's worked ever since. Basically, I started at a regional carrier, and I was there for just about a year. But I didn't meet Eddie until about 6 months or 7 months into my career at my previous airline. We met in the crew room, and it was just brief, and I didn't think anything of it because going into being a flight attendant, my intentions were not to meet a pilot like some girls or guys that is their only intention, is they only want to date pilots. So that was not my intention whatsoever. So when I met Eddie in the crew room, it was just very briefly. It wasn't even that long, and then that was it. That was that. That's what you do. You meet in the crew room, like, you know, whatever. A couple of weeks went by, and we actually had a trip together, and it was kind of a chaotic trip, but he sneakingly asked for my number and it worked. So yeah, but then I never really heard from him ever again. And then a couple weeks later we had another trip, and it was kind of chaotic again. And I realized at that point I started liking him. I thought he was really cute. I thought that, I don't know, I just really liked him, and it was weird because he was a pilot, and that was just not on my brain at all, like dating a pilot. So flash forward to a couple weeks later, I had a 4-day trip, and the layovers were Montreal, New York, and Savannah. And I looked at my pairing one day, and I saw that he was on the trip, and so I was really excited. So, you know, being the typical girl, I got ready for the trip. Like, I put a lot of effort into getting ready and whatever. So we went on this 4-day trip, and ever since then we haven't stopped talking or dating or anything. So that's basically the short version. There is a lot more details, but I'm not gonna get into all of that stuff. So now that you know how we met and everything like that, I'm going to go into the pros and cons. I would just like to say these are from my point of view of being a flight attendant. These are the pros and cons. Now, if I wasn't a flight attendant, I'm sure there would be different pros and cons, but this is coming from being in the aviation career, and we are in the same industry together. So that is my point of view. So without further ado, let's get rolling. When he's off, and he doesn't bring his work home with him, except for when he was training in his current airline. He was studying and doing all that stuff, so that's completely different. But now that he is out training and everything like that, he doesn't bring his work home. When he's off. So if he's off for 6 days, he's off for 6 days. He can pick up a trip if he wants, but he doesn't have to. You know, if he's off for 10 days because he's on vacation for 10 days, then he's off for 10 days because he's on vacation. So when he's off, he's off. Not being able to see each other every time that you both are off, so we have set different schedules. You know, I have my schedule, he has his schedule. We try to bid around each other, but some months it doesn't work. But a pro to that is, being that we don't get to see each other all the time, that does make the heart grow fonder. And when we do get to see each other, it's great because we're seeing each other, and you know, it's awesome, and it's like we're seeing each other for the first time. And so yeah, so that is a con when your days don't match up and he's gone all the time, or you know, I don't get to see him that often. But that is my biggest con of all. We get to travel together. We both have flight benefits, so that's a plus. He is on my benefits at my airline, so he does get to travel, even though that he gets benefits through jump seating privileges on every single airline pretty much. we get to travel together for free or for a discounted price if we're going international or something like that. And if I wasn't a flight attendant, then I would probably, you know, use his like non-revving benefits or whatever and whatnot. But since I am a flight attendant, I do get the perks of the free flight. Traveling is definitely a big pro to dating a pilot. Time zones. He was based in LA probably for about 3 or 4 years-ish, and so he was 2 hours behind me because I'm in Central Time and he was in Pacific Time. And so being that our schedules were opposite, our time zones were also opposites. At least he's not based somewhere that it's a completely different time zone. So we're working to getting closer together. Slowly but surely it will happen soon. Learning a lot about airplanes that I didn't know. So being a flight attendant, I do know a lot of things about airplanes, like the basics. When I had started dating Eddie, he gave me more lingo. He told me what certain things did to certain things on the airplane. So that's kind of cool to know what things do and how things work more than I would have if I wasn't dating a pilot. So when I do talk to my pilots at my airline and they say something, I say, oh, I know what that is, or I know what that acronym means, you know, things like that. So it is kind of cool that I know a little bit more than the average flight attendant. I am a very outgoing introvert, so getting to have your own time and your own space when he is on a trip is a perk in a way. When Eddie comes here or I go to his house, we are there the entire time, the majority of the time that we are off. And you know, when he's gone, it's sad, but it's also really nice to just come home and just do my own thing. Not that I wouldn't want him here, and not that I know that he wouldn't want me there, but you know, we have our own routines when we're not seeing each other. So it's just kind of nice to know that you can also have your own time by dating a pilot, because they're not going to be there all the time. So you do have to learn to grow independent or do things on your own or go by yourself to certain things. But it doesn't matter, because in the end, I know that he's gonna be coming back, and I know that we're gonna be together for another 5 days or whatever, how many ever days in a row it is. But when we do get to spend time with each other, it's great, but I do love my alone time. So, no offense, love ya. Being in the aviation industry, we get certain discounts. We get discounts to hotels, we get discounts to theme parks, car rentals, shipping boxes, and other things like that. So a pro is definitely the discounts. I have yet to use any of Eddie's discounts, but I use my own discounts, so that's kind of more of like an aviation just pro in general. But if I wasn't a flight attendant and I was dating a pilot, that is definitely something that is a pro, because there are a lot of really, really good discounts and free flight benefits. Those are all my pros and cons. The pros definitely outweigh the cons, because in the end, Eddie is just a human and he's my human. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of an insight on what it's like dating a pilot and what I go through on a daily basis. Right now he's getting ready for a flight to Detroit, and I don't know when I'm gonna talk to him. I mean, you know, I just don't know. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.